सो आज मैं आ गया हूँ यहाँ पे फ्री फूड इन कनाडा, क्योंकि कनाडा के अंदर आपको अगर आप स्टूडेंट हो तो फ्री फूड आपको प्रोवाइड किया जाता है। तो मैंने कुछ दिन पहले रजिस्टर्ड किया था एज अ स्टूडेंट और उनका मेल आया था कि आप लेने आ जाओ।
Alex Lavoie for Ribbon News, and I'm currently in Montreal, and I'm in the front of the food bank Mission West Island. Recently, they did a call for help in a CTV article where they mentioned that they were concerned in 2023, but now they are in a state of emergency. Mission West Island has seen a sharp increase in families seeking assistance, with numbers rising from 250 to 400. Due to this surge, the nonprofit will not be able to accommodate new families this holiday season. In Quebec, food bank demand has escalated significantly, with CTV News reporting 3 million monthly requests for food aid in 2024, an increase of 400,000 requests compared to last year. Mission West Island also reported that immigrants now make up 20% of their users, while demand from elderly clients is rising steadily. Additionally, a social media trend has contributed to a notable increase in international students visiting food banks, as posts have promoted these resources as sources of free food. This has led some Canadian food banks to restrict access, including measures like prohibiting international students from using their services during their first year in the country. Food banks are intended to serve people in severe financial need, such as those at risk of homelessness or struggling to afford adequate nutrition due to low income. International students are generally expected to show proof of financial self-sufficiency upon arrival. However, with the growing number of asylum seekers, temporary immigrants, and increasing poverty levels among Canadians, food banks are nearing their capacity limits. To discuss this situation further, we are joined today by Sandra Watson, a reintegration specialist, and Suzanne Scarrow, Executive Director of Mission West Island.
It's like a little dépanneur. So people come in, they do their shopping. We also have 10,000 square feet of gardens. So you can see everything is laid out, and people are able to choose what they want, need, and like for themselves.
You were worried in the past, but now you are in a state of emergency. Can you a little bit explain the challenge that you face?
Sure. So, I mean, it's we're going into Christmas. What we used to do is also open up our Christmas database to serve families that are on the West Island that aren't at one of the other two food banks or ourselves, and allow them to get Christmas. Our numbers are too high this year. We cannot accommodate that. So because we're already serving close to 400 families, we are only serving Christmas to those that are currently registered for our food assistance program.
Did you see any change in the kind of people who are asking for your help?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we have a 35% of our database right now are single seniors. So that means that people that are on a fixed income, on pension, are no longer able to pay their rent, no longer able to buy food for themselves, maybe not taking medication that is necessary because they can't afford to do it right now. The food insecurity has nothing to do with food and everything to do with how you got there. So maybe it's your housing, maybe it's inflation, grocery stores, everything is just spiraling down for everybody. We've been talking about it for a couple of years that this is coming, and we're now in the eye of the storm, and people are acting surprised. This is not a surprise. Shame on someone, but here we are trying to serve a community that is in need. They can't pay their rent. You go into a grocery store and one little bag is costing you over $100. Something doesn't make sense. People were stressed during COVID. Mental health has taken its toll. But now with inflation, you just can't make ends meet. People were hanging on before. People are having tons of debt. And it's just all catching up to you now. Like at some point, you hit rock bottom, and a lot of people have.
Do you think there is enough support coming from subsidies or loan or like from the government to help non-profit organization like yours?
Absolutely not. The emergency funding that has come in and is, one check for a senior of $400 or $500, that's not going to change anything.
How did you react when you learned that there is some foreign student who were advertising food bank as free food? Were you shocked when you heard this kind of story to say that this is for people really in need here?
Nothing is shocking right now. We're seeing so many sad stories and situations that no, it doesn't surprise me that foreign students are needing to go to food banks. When foreign students come into Canada or into a country, part of the agreement is they're supposed to be able to take care of themselves. If that isn't the case, someone still needs to make sure people are surviving. Mississauga, Ontario has a situation where funeral homes are filled with foreign students who are committing suicide. It doesn't make sense. No one should be put in that position. Everybody deserves the dignity and space to have a good balanced diet. We have many of our pensioners who, might be making $1,600 a month and their rent continues to rise and it's now at $1,500 a month. That leaves you $100 to survive? I don't think so. So, we're seeing seniors that are about to be homeless. No shelter can take in 70-plus-year-old seniors with walkers, and they're not equipped to do that. That's not the demographic that our shelters are used to seeing. It's just unfathomable. It doesn't make sense.
How would you continue to afford to give as much goods to the people if the numbers keep increasing?
I spend all day long with my hand out asking for the community, whether it's through funds coming in to make sure we can keep the lights on or it's through food drives. We haven't taken a break. We have to make sure that we are serving the community to the best of our ability. It's our job. We're paid to do that. We're lucky to be able to do this on a daily basis. So we literally are Oliver twisting all day long. We were in a location that was half this size, and we thought we would build a tiny little community kitchen and serve soup, and it would be cute, and we'd meet and have conversation. And then we very quickly realized that we needed to expand and grow into a much bigger space. And then another organization, Volunteer West Island, approached us and asked us if we could partner together. We're stronger as one. They don't have to rent their own space. They're able to sublease from us. They have a kitchen 5 days a week. We have it 2 days a week, and now it's a great partnership. Now we've taken the circle of food security and kind of closed the gap. We're serving everybody, vulnerable at all levels, vulnerability.
You say that everything started to explode around COVID. Okay. Do you know a little bit what happened then?
Well, COVID, people were losing their jobs. They weren't going into work. They were home. So yeah, our database started to rise during COVID, just with sheer loss of jobs. And then when people were ready to go back, or there weren't jobs to be had or whatever, it became a different story. And it's just continued to rise since then. The stress and anxiety that we're seeing on people is like we've never seen before. It's causing a lot of disease, and it's causing a lot of mental health problems.
So since COVID, we've seen obviously a lot of people struggling with their mental health. So a lot of our clients that are coming through the door, mental health really is at the top. Food is, yes, of course, we're going to give them food, but that's just a little fix. So a lot of people are coming with many difficulties, whether it's depression, anger, frustration of the system, because they can't get connected to the resources that they need in our healthcare system. So we're the safety net that is trying to fill the gap until I can connect them to the services that they really need.
So we see in Canada, we have a lot of newcomers arriving, or asylum seeker, or we have immigrants. It's growing every year. What can you tell us for the future of food bank if those people cannot even take care of themselves, while our own people, our own Canadians are sleeping in the street and they are struggling to pay their rent at the end of the month?
Yeah, so if we let in and even more and more newcomers, the food banks will not be able to help them. We don't have the capacity to do it. As I said, we already serving 1,000 people a month. If it went up to 2,000, it would be impossible to service, and we wouldn't be able to even give as much food as we are giving now. And we don't even give as much as we would like to. And I know the other food banks work the same way as us. So oftentimes we share our lists. Every week we speak with ONROC and Fonds d'Aide Ouest de l'Île to ensure that the clients are not using all of our services.
Do you have any sign of abuse for the food bank?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of people that are maybe in desperate situations, but they can't abuse the system. So just recently we had to take off 5 families from our list because they were using us, ONROC, and Fonds d'Aide. So they were getting food 3 times a week. So we take them off for 6 months, and ONROC will take them off for a year. And Fonds d'Aide, it depends on the family. But so that means they won't even get any services because they abused our system.
So how do you make sure they are eligible for taking any food?
So each client has to fill out a form, and then they meet with me on one-on-one, and we go over their identification, proof of address, what their source of income, their proof of income, and their bank statements. This way I know if they're getting money from another source that they have not disclosed. And if they do have outside sources of income, we don't accept them.
You have any people who have maybe lied on their income and they were receiving money behind?
For sure. A lot of people, when they're new arrivals, they don't think the money that is in their other country, their original country, counts. But it does for us, because when we have people that are living, or from the West Island, for example, and they're living on $1,500 a month, and the new arrivals are coming and they have extra money, let's say they get an extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, they're not eligible for our service. They're not in real emergency situations like we see our clients.
Would you want, or would you expect the government giving more help, like financial help
To the new arrivals?
to you?
Yes, we definitely need more help from the government. Like I said before, the government really needs to see what it's like to come and see firsthand what it's like to serve people that are really in desperate situations.
And all your donation, where that's come from?
So the donations come from corporate and from citizens. The citizens donate on us on a regular basis. We have Partage Action, which is a community organization that collects money for all West Island community organizations, and they are one of our bigger funders.
Don't forget to go over fixourcities.com. On this website, we have a petition. We want to request our government to do something regarding inflation, housing crisis, immigration crisis, and everything that is happening in our cities. Right now, there is a huge increase in crime and poverty, and we want them to do something. So go over and sign our petition at fixourcities.com right now.